There we
Hi,
go.
Lauren.
Hi, Brian. How are you?
Good. I think that it's like a record with us now. Like we always start our shows muted. Every live, it's muted. You know what it is? When so it's super annoying. I'll just explain this to the chat real quick. What happens is I'll come in and I'll get everything set up, and then sometimes like I'm at home and I'll email myself like a note or like an article I want to pull up. And then I come here and I try to open Outlook and it won't open. So I restart my computer. And when I do that, it always sets the mic to mute.
That's weird.
It's not fun.
It
sucks.
Yeah.
But anyway, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. It's crappy weather out here in Massachusetts today.
Yeah, I need some more sun. It was so nice on Friday where I work. It was 65 degrees. It was sunny. And then this whole weekend has just been a washout.
Super washout. Super washout Sunday. But we're back here on the Super Sunday show. Not at our normal time slot. We decided to move things up a little bit because life happens. And so I want to welcome everybody in, new subscribers, new members. Please feel free to chat in the chat along with us. And we're going to get into a lot of things, Karen Reed, today. What else? What else did I want to say? Oh, LTL Media is about 600 subscribers away from hitting 40,000 subscribers.
Wow.
So I would appreciate if this is the first time over here, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification so you know when we go live here. And I want to thank you, by the way, for the addition here in the studio, my birthday present that Lauren made, the LTL.
Well, I had it made. I didn't make it.
Yeah, she didn't make it.
I'm not that talented.
It was, but I love it. And I was trying to figure out like, where am I going to put it? Where am I going to put it? And I didn't think it was going to work above the painting, and it worked out well. So
yeah,
looks great.
I was like, I torn on what size to order. I didn't want to get it too big or too little.
Perfect.
But yeah, it fits great. I'm so happy.
It worked out really, really well. So crazy week, Karen Reed. Obviously, we're in jury selection. We did get into the weekend, and I'm going to pull an article up here from Fox News, and it says 10 of the 16 jurors have been selected for Reed's second murder trial in the death of Boston cop John O'Keefe. We shouldn't be here.
No, first of all, we shouldn't be here. But second of all, I'm surprised they already have 10.
It's been going quick.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised about that.
Because a lot of the experts and the law tubers have been saying, let me get this a little bit better here. A lot of the experts and law tubers have been saying that, this could be weeks until we see the jury.
Yeah.
10 jurors in the first week already is pretty impressive.
I don't know if it's impressive or concerning.
Could be concerning.
Like, are they not vetting them enough? Like, I'm not sure if it's impressive or concerning.
And I know that's been kind of the chatter out there on all the social media waves. Like, I've heard it from both ends. Like, yeah, I think this is going really well. But then, are we going to get people that sneak in there? And it's funny.
Yeah.
I was talking to a very good friend of mine. And I said, do you think there could be a possibility of like some free Karen Reed supporters like slipping through? And he goes, and they go, yeah, probably. But you have to think on the other end too. Could it be someone that, some people that are sneaking in that are not pro Karen Reed and want to see her go down? I mean, we understand all the publicity of this case. I mean, that's definitely out there. With all these documentary series that have come out just recently, and we just had the ID documentary come out just before the jury selection started. And it's like, do you think that has, does that have an impression on some people?
Yeah. I think that, jury selection, it's done kind of by an honor system. You have to answer the questions, and they just kind of have to believe what you say. I mean, it's different if people walk into a courtroom and they look at the jury and they're like, wait a minute, everybody knows who this person is. Like, if I showed up on the jury panel, Pete, that would be a red flag, But I think it's definitely possible that somebody could slip through the cracks who doesn't necessarily post about it, or whatever view they have. And they just write what they have to write to get through. And I don't know. I mean, that is scary because it's the honor system.
Grant's Pants is asking, I wonder if there's a budget for the third trial or the second trial a jury is hung. It's interesting that you say that. From what I've heard, and the consensus that I get from out there is that, which is ridiculous, that the Commonwealth said that we are going to continue to try this case over and over and over again until we have a verdict. Yeah, what? Until they get the verdict that they want.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. Yep.
So it's just crazy. Making changes, saying I'm gonna have to use some truth serum. I like that idea.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's legal, but no, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. But
Yeah.
it's moving fast. You know, my prediction, probably Wednesday or Thursday.
At this rate,
they might have the jury seated.
Yeah. At this rate, it's very likely that they could. I'm thinking maybe Thursday or even Friday. Because out of 16, well, 10 out of 16 actually is more than half. So yeah, maybe mid next week.
And I'm almost wondering though, if we seat the jury on the 10th, I wonder if Beb's like, we start on Friday.
Oh, that would be crazy.
Yeah.
Who wants to start on a Friday? Who wants to start at all?
Well,
But
you know, she would. We start on Friday, damn it. Ah! I could see her doing that, but I don't know. It's interesting. Let me pull up this article here. I'm going to straighten this window out really quick if I can, because I don't like the way we look here. I'm going to shrink. Well, I know what I can do. Let's do this. Let's do fit. There we go. Haha, I knew I could fix it. Damn it. All right. Let me save that. Okay. So let's read through a little bit of this article here. Oh, it's not gonna. We'll play the video. It's gonna get a commercial, I bet you.
Since the year 2000, over.
All right, we'll get through this commercial. Oh my God, there's a minute and 32 seconds of commercials.
you can skip it.
Here we go. Let's see what they got to say.
Dr. John Delatorre. Thank you, doctor, for being here. I want to just get to this. Karen Reed has said she's not backing down. This is what she told Vanity Fair. Quote, I'm not backing down. As scary as a potential conviction is, I will go to jail for something I didn't do before I plea out. I will never give them that win. She has done a fair amount of TV and interviews since her last trial. Do you think any of that has helped her in the court of public opinion?
Thanks for having me, Jackie. I do think it has helped. You know, it's unfortunate that she maintains this conspiracy theory. I think that's a bridge too far for most people. I think if she was just saying, look at this evidence, look at the circumstantial nature of it all, I think she'd probably get a much larger group of people. But the more she's out there, the more she's telling her side of the story, the more likely it is that at least one, two, and other dominoes will fall that people will go to her side.
There's been quite a long timeline for this case. I mean, back in January 2022, O'Keefe was found dead. February that year, she pleaded not guilty to the 3 charges the day after the arrest. June, the jury indicted her. May, her lawyers claimed she was framed. April of 24, her first trial began. There was a mistrial in July of last year. You know, prosecutors have already been down this road with her before. How do you think that all this history changes their approach to the case now?
Typically, when prosecutors are facing a mistrial, right, for the second trial, often they streamline their cases. And I think that's what's necessary here. Looking back on the first case, I mean, there was all kinds of issues with other troopers and all these other ancillary things that kind of muddied the water for the jury that left them with a mistrial. I think narrowing it down, knowing what your best hits were, knowing what exactly it is that the jury listen to, those are the things that the prosecution needs to do, and they often get having the second chance, they often get a better result than they did the first time.
How hard is jury selection going to be at this point? I mean, it's been very publicized. I think it's going to be a challenge to find anyone who doesn't know about this case in that area.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, a case such as prominent as this, everybody has heard everything about it. The issue is going to be not whether or not they heard anything about it, but what were the decisions that they've made as a result, the decisions that they're fixated on. Could it be to the end of the month? Yeah, I mean, that's a long, long time. I think it'd probably go maybe a couple of days into May, but we'll see. It's going to be a very difficult process to be sure.
What?
And finally, just very quickly, what do you make of the fact that the defense has now taken on an alternate juror from the last trial and made them part of the defense team? This woman has claimed that, you know, she has no faith in the justice system. She's a lawyer herself. Does that sort of color things for you? Where do you think that lands?
I honestly I've never heard of this before, where someone just kind of joins after being an alternate. It's a crazy thing to kind of think about, that you were once sitting and supposed to be in this kind of abstract neutral sense, and then decided, no, wait a minute, I'm gonna be on this defense team. It's very strange. I don't really quite know what to make of it. I've never seen it before.
We will see how it plays out, of course. All right, Dr. John Delatorre, thank you very much for being here. Appreciate your time.
Couple weeks into May. I don't see that happening.
No, especially not at the rate they've already been going.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
Crazy.
Susie says, I'm actually very concerned about how quickly this is happening. I can absolutely think that people are working to get on the jury. She said, I also heard Bettero make a comment of concern as well. It's scary.
Yeah, I heard Bettero say that too. This morning while I was getting ready, I was watching the stream on Calling All Beings with them. And I heard that him talk about it briefly, and I didn't catch the whole conversation they had about it, but I did know that Bettero kind of expressed concern about that.
It's wild. It is moving a lot quicker than I thought it was going to be.
Me
but
too.
I go back to like that moment. And again, I mean, we can just throw things out there that we see and we can't really hold much credence to it. But there was like a thing the other day when Alan Jackson was up. I think it was day 2. And there was some video of him. And he went to go like introduce himself. And he wasn't sure, like, I think Bev was giving instructions to like say, oh, you can go, Mr. Jackson. And there's a little bit of confusion. He was like, hi, I'm Alan Jackson. And then he kind of stopped and started a little bit. And then he was like, oh, I didn't know I was supposed to go. And then he went, and actually the jury laughed. And I was like, oh, well, that's kind of a good thing, I would think. I mean, he kind of, a good sign. So I don't know. It is interesting. It is moving fast. Trial is probably going to start soon. I don't know. I know people are super concerned.
A lot of people are concerned. And I mean, I'm kind of concerned too, because at first when I was like, oh, wow, they're seating the jury so quickly. But then afterwards you think about it and you're like, that might not be a good thing.
Yeah. I don't know. Just gonna have to see how it all plays out. That's the thing with all of this is we don't know. I mean, we're not jurors. We're not in that room. I mean, I would love to be a juror because I know the way that I would vote in this. I know the way I would cast my vote. And, but you know, it is, it's going fast. Do you think people are just nervous because it's moving fast and like, they don't want to get to the trial or?
I think it's more nervous that like, if you're going so fast, like this is faster than the first trial jury selection, if I remember correctly. So the fact that more people would even know about it now, the documentary just came out right before selection started. Like, I think it's creating anxiety because it's like, how well are you really vetting these people to seat them even quicker than the first time? When really you'd think that the jury pool would be, I don't want to say tainted, but like there would be more people within the jury pool than last time who would have already heard about it.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of dismissals too. I mean, I think it's just going to be almost near impossible to get someone completely up there that hasn't heard about this in Norfolk County or Massachusetts. I think it's almost near impossible. I saw a friend of mine. I've seen her and met her through Free Karen Reed standouts. Her dad was actually sequestered to the jury.
Really?
Yeah, and basically dismissed himself because he knows about the trial, but he did like the honest thing and was just like, you know, I was honest, and that's good. That's what we want. We want honest jurors. And that was really good. But come to find out, her dad actually went to jury duty and was on the Karen Reed jury.
That's kind of funny because yesterday I drove into Boston with my mom and we were talking a little bit about the jury selection, and she was like, oh, I would be so nervous because I don't know anything about the case and I know they would pick me. And I was like, Mom,
that's a good thing.
I was like, well, it's a good thing. I said, but they wouldn't pick you because 1, we don't live in Norfolk County.
Norfolk County.
But 2, because of how involved I am in it, like that would be a conflict of interest for you. Like I talk about it all the time. So no worries. You would be fine, but she doesn't even live in Norfolk County. So
Grant's Pants says, this is the first judge I've seen in a while that isn't fair and impartial to the rule of law. I completely agree. I can have that opinion. That's my First Amendment right. I can have that opinion. You know, the whole buffer zone, we know about the lawsuit with the buffer zone. You know, it's crazy. This is the first. It was funny. Someone was putting up on Twitter the other day about all the major cases that have happened over the last like 20 something years. It was like OJ Simpson, no buffer zone. Like Alec Murdaugh, no buffer zone. And you know, Scott Peterson, no buffer zone. Like all these crazy, super crazy trials and huge trials that have gotten attention. And it's like the Karen Reed case, we have this 200-foot buffer zone now. that literally they put signs up that say buffer zone. Like I was
saw
watching
those entering buffer zone.
Yeah, I was watching Tom's CPU stream the other day. They literally have buffer zone signs. I've never seen that before. They had the barrels out there last time. Now they've put street signs up. It's wild. It's such a wild case.
It really is.
It's a wild, wild case. All right, let's talk a little bit about this Canton audit. And I want to talk a little bit about it because I had retired Mass State Police, my friend, retired Mass State Police Todd McGee on the other day, and we kind of went through all of the sections about John O'Keefe, and Todd is the type of guy that is going to look at everything and give his opinion based on what is there. And he's, there's one thing I love about him. He's a very straight shooter.
Yep.
He doesn't bullshit. And if something's wrong, he's going to call it out. Or if he feels that something's right, he's going to say his opinion. And that stream, I loved it in the fact of, because we talked a lot about police protocol. But the thing that I found after I really got to kind of dig my nails into it, because it was still very fresh to me, and we're going to talk about this whole influencer, influencers are the ones that are responsible for this. But it's almost like there's like a bit of gaslighting in there where Five Stones, and I haven't had the opportunity to watch the public town hall. I'm busy. I work, so it's tough sometimes to get all this information in. But the thing that I found reading through the 206-page document was this, and I said this to Todd on the show the other day, it's like they're like saying stuff, but then they're retracting it, and then they're kind of going around and saying it in a different way, and there's almost like a bit of gaslighting in there too. So I'm like, what is it, Five Stones? Like, you're supposed to be this super reputable company that get paid $200,000 to come in and do this independent audit. And then when I started finding things and read things that, they spent weeks at the Canton Police Department, I went, oh, I know what happened. They had a lot of conversations in there with, people in that department, especially Chief Rafferty. And I'm pretty sure that Chief Rafferty had a lot of things to say about the results of how this audit came out, because it's clear when you literally, they put in a fucking section about influencers and social media presence. Like, seriously, are you fucking serious about this?
Yeah. When I read that, I was like,
yeah,
really?
Yeah.
Really?
So we're gonna go through that today, but I want to share this article here. And from the Boston Herald, says Canton residents question firm behind police department audit and its transparency. Canton residents are skeptical that the firm that audited the town's police department did an adequate job conducting the independent report, saying that they feel like their voices weren't heard in the process. I'm going to tell you right now, one of the things that was very strange about this whole process was this. I thought that the Sandra Birchmore section 3 in this audit, they were like, oh, Canton Police Department followed all protocols within, they were at no, like, basically found no fault in their investigation of the Sandra Birchmore case. And I was like, what? And I think even someone at the public town hall the other day, it was a young lady that stood up, and forgive me, I forget her name. I caught the clip of it. And she basically was calling him out, like, you're saying you're following police protocol, but you're saying she hung herself. Then it took a deeper investigation for an outside entity to come in, like Dr. Michael Bowden, to come in and redo this autopsy and say, no, she didn't hang herself. She was fucking strangled to death. And you have video of Farwell walking into her apartment and fucking doing the old Scooby-Doo. I gotta run out of there.
With a mask on.
With a mask on.
He was known to be like against wearing masks, but he chose to wear one in an empty lobby.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Go in with a fucking mask, a COVID mask, when he was, people said that he never wore a COVID mask. Goes up, I mean, and I think Britt was saying this the other day. She's like, what did you think they were fucking doing? Have a conversation up there talking about fucking, I don't know.
Child support.
Or not even that. Like, what do you think they're fucking doing? Talking about Game of Thrones? Like, he was fucking killing her. That's what he was doing. He fucking killed her. He fucking killed her. And you're saying that he is the last known person to go in there, and then a couple of days later they find her and go, oh yeah, no, they just had a conversation and she got upset and killed her. And I'm gonna tell you right now, the way I look at it, and you can even go through, and I think I've done these statistics before, the way that they found Sandra, to even say that she did it in the way that they were proposing that she did it, the likelihood of that in that way of tying yourself over a fucking doorknob is almost near impossible that people do it that way.
Yep. And the statistics, I don't know the exact ones, forgive me, but I do know that the statistical probability of a pregnant woman committing suicide are so low,
because it's such a connection to the child.
Yes. And it's like she had laundry in the washer that hadn't even been turned over yet. Like she had a whole prep, like I think she had a baby registry going, or at least she had things that she had ordered. Like she was looking forward to the future. And I don't think and I don't think that she would have killed herself.
Yeah.
Even if they had an uncomfortable conversation. But that's not what happened. He killed her up there. In my opinion.
Fucking killed her.
He totally did.
So and obviously he's now sitting in federal prison waiting his fucking sentence, and hopefully he just gets, well, we have no death penalty here. So he'll get life. Officials of Five Stone Intelligence were dropped.
Isn't it federal charges for him now though? So federal has
yeah, you're right. Which dropped their months-long audit of the department last week, presented their findings, and heard that from the residents during the forum on Saturday. I got to go back and watch this. Resident Greg Murphy said that he signed the petition that led to the 2023 town meeting vote. I just want to go through this. Murphy, however, expressed the Five Stone might have dropped the ball. Oh, here we go. Murphy now, however, expressed that Five Stones might have dropped the ball in getting residents' perspective of the department, which of the Senate. And this is the thing that too, and I know I'm kind of jumping around here because these thoughts are going to come to my head, is that the thing that I don't understand about all of this is they literally sum up in all of the sections like, oh, well, yeah, there's no fault in the Canton Police Department. You know, they're doing a solid job and they have a great police chief in place. But then you see all these policy and procedure violations, like not having proper equipment inside the vehicles when you go out to a crime scene. And again, they even openly admit, like, yes, Canton police can go in and start a crime scene. That's what they should have done when they were there investigating what happened to Officer John O'Keefe. Their purpose was to respond to the call, okay, assess the situation, start cording off the area for the Mass State Police to come in and take over control. They're not even doing proper photographs. They're not even using proper police procedures and taking tape and taping off the crime scene. They're letting fucking witnesses walk away and go inside the fucking house of where there's a dead and dying police officer on the front lawn. Oh, go ahead, Jen McCabe, just fucking walk off. I've never even seen that before. Like I literally have watched Cops a million fucking times. And the minute someone starts to go walk away, they're like, hey, where are you going?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? No, Jen McCabe just can, go ahead and walk off.
Yep.
And then they don't go up to the door. I mean, we know what happened. Like, they didn't go up to the door. They didn't knock on the door. They didn't ask to go in. We've talked to the LV cops about LV cops have mentioned this 1,000 times. But I guess my bigger point in all of this is they're literally saying all of the flaws. It's like gaslighting. They're saying all the flaws that happened in this investigation, all the things that procedurally they done wrong. But at the end, they go, well, they kind of did everything they could with the circumstances they had.
No.
I can't. I can't.
Absolutely not. No.
I can't.
No, I would love to talk to Mizzy about her take on the audit for Sandra Birchmore. I've seen her popping up in the chat a little bit. That's good.
Yeah,
we're
going to have her
on. To have her perspective because she knows the case in and out. And I admittedly, I don't know as much as I would like to. But yeah, somebody in the comments mentioned that Sandra had a baby or maternity photo shoot scheduled and stuff like that. So I would definitely love to talk to somebody like Mizzy who has a...
Yeah, we're going to get her on this week.
Good.
Yeah.
She has a much better understanding. But it's crazy for them to say that the Canton Police Department did everything right.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of that investigation was done by the MSP. And so that wouldn't necessarily have been included in it. But there's no way you can say that Canton did their due diligence either.
Exactly.
They didn't.
No.
They didn't.
No. And then we found out, just going back to Sandra, we found out 30,000 text messages get hidden. It doesn't get brought up. I mean, there's enough evidence for you right there. I mean, come on.
Yeah, he was in the lobby at the time. Like, come on.
Yeah.
So much evidence.
Yep. So it says many town members have been calling, and this is back to John O'Keefe and Sandra Birchmore. It says many town members have been calling for a meeting like this to speak about the issues and questions, Murphy said. I think there should be several meetings during this during the audit process. I think Five Stones missed a key part of the process and reestablished trust in the Canton police. The Canton Police Audit Committee inked a, we'll just say $200,000 deal last fall for Five Stones to complete their report. Organization director Matt German is a Germanowski. I think I said that right. Germanowski.
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Said that after the initial trip to the town in November, he received instructions that there would be only one point of contact going forward. We have to say, quote, we have no say in how the contract was written, Germanowski said. If there was to be updates, we have been provided them, and this is very unusual. The audit dropped on the same day of Karen Reed's retrial and started and included a recommendation on how crime scenes surrounding John O'Keefe's body could have been worked better. Reed, 45, obviously we know this, defense attorneys, Reed pled guilty. All right. Germanowski said Saturday in the Saturday's forum, stuck to the key points he made about the audit committee meeting on Thursday. The department needs to improve its crime scene protocol, internal affairs, and training. He also added that the audit did not find any indication of conspiracy, cover-up, or corruption. I'm going to tell you right now, this right here, that's crime scene casework 101. You drop the fucking ball. You drop the ball.
Big time.
Drop the ball big time.
Yep.
And they didn't have the balls to stand up and push back against all these people because they hung out with them for a couple of weeks and probably had some conversations, and people went in and went, they're making fun of us. They're saying all this stuff about, I can't do it. Suck it up, Buttercup, because that comes with the job. If you're going to take that, that comes with the job. You know, we're allowed to come out here and scrutinize and talk about these things under the First Amendment.
Yeah, and they asked the Canton Police Department's opinions of, you know, their public perception, but it doesn't look like they asked the public's perception of the Canton Police Department.
No, they asked the workers.
Yeah, exactly. That's not a very fair, balanced view.
Yeah. The report noted that there is a noticeable decrease of morale among department members, largely due to the public scrutiny regarding the Canton PD's handling of the crime scene and the investigation into the death of O'Keefe. Yeah, I'd say, because you fucking left one of your own out there and you didn't fucking do enough here to help out. You just kind of glazed over everything and you fucked up bad. And then when it fucking, and then when they found out who was all involved, they had to turn around and go, well, who's the weakest link here? Oh, we're just pinning on the girl.
Yeah. Yep, Karen.
Pinning on the girl because she's not one of us. She's not connected. She's just someone we hung out with a few times. I got it. She's the last one that dropped him off. Perfect.
Yep.
There we go. There's the end.
Yep.
It says multiple anonymous quotes from officers, including how low morale. And then you're saying that your fucking chief, and I'm just going to finish this. Multiple anonymous quotes from officers included how low morale in the department are part of the report. No one in this town will care about us until one of us gets murdered. Even then, half the town will probably celebrate that. The interviewees also expressed that they did not believe to have the support of town officials. Well, here's the thing. If you're saying that you have this chief, you're saying that Chief Rafferty is this amazing, you know, they even say, oh, she's such a great job. And but then you have your own fucking department that's literally saying things against her, like the morale is low.
Yeah.
That all comes with leadership. Morale, that all starts with leadership. You always look at the person on top.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Resident leader Rita Lombardi, a vocal police critic and center of the leader of the Free Karen Reed movement during the initial trial, said it would end with a deadlocked jury. Last year, she said, saddened by the low morale comments. This town, the last few years, has been through extraordinary times, extraordinary hardships, Lombardi said. I would wonder if these officers took any responsibility for the morale issues, because the morale issues are on both sides. If you don't own what has caused the morale issue, then it can never be fixed. You can never be able to fix the morale issue. That's a great quote by Rita, by the way. Yep. Germanowski responded, when you watch the videotape from the body camera and a person speaking to the officer said, I hope you die. Who was that? How do you take that responsibility for that? I think it's public themes. I think there's public themes being put out by people that just aren't true. And that's it. But we're going to bring up this presentation. What do you think, Lauren?
I don't know. I think that
I know I'm sweating. I can tell you that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think that the audit definitely left a lot unsaid, but it did validate some of the other things that we were saying, like the crime scene wasn't left secured.
Yeah.
It did validate a lot of things for us, but I also think it came up short in other ways.
Big time.
And, back to the comment, somebody said that in the chat about how, they interviewed the Canton PD officers asking what their opinion was, but I don't think they asked the public's opinion of the Canton PD.
Mm-hmm.
Like Rita said, there's a part that they played in the issues of morale, and they need to recognize that.
I agree. Let's pull up my see what we got. Let me go back to the beginning. So let's see if I have this on screen. I don't even know if I shared it yet. Let me bring up my presentation.
I agree with what Mizzy said, that the morale should have never even been part of the audit.
Yeah,
It has
because you're
nothing
bringing
to do
in
with
personal
this.
feelings now.
Mhm.
That's the thing. You're bringing in personal feelings, and that's not what this was about.
Mhm.
This was about to go through policy and procedure
Mhm.
of the Canton Police Department, not bring in outside static and noise.
Yep.
So let me see this. I see you $10. Thank you so much. Says Rafferty scrubbed that whole audit before it was published. They also said Jen made a great 911 call. What?
There's
Exactly.
a guy in the snow.
Yeah, guy in the snow. Her friend, my friend was out there dying on lawn. Oh, your friend, right? Your friend? And you didn't even say Officer John O'Keefe. You didn't say police officer down. You didn't say officer down. You didn't say my friend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe is down in the snow. You said none of that.
No.
You said none of that. Nada.
No.
Zip.
If I found somebody that I was close to, allegedly, if I found a friend, in a serious condition like that, I definitely wouldn't be on the phone saying, there's a body in the snow. I would have been like, my friend.
Exactly. Nothing. All right. So let's read through some of this here. So this is going to go into all the influencers. That's for the town's decline.
Yeah.
So we got management, operations, and culture. Okay. Let's see this. The audit team observed Chief Rafferty's leadership style and found that her approach in decision-making abilities to be effective. Really? I'm just going to pause right there. Really?
Decision-making ability.
Okay. So how about you decide to have proper equipment inside all of your vehicles to process fucking crime scenes of very important people?
Didn't she cover up that she hit a man with her cruiser or something like that? Yeah, good decision-making abilities.
Good decision-making abilities. Chief Rafferty is I like this one too. Chief Rafferty is highly respected by the members of the department and colleagues in law enforcement community. Really? Sure. Okay. There's been a noticeable decrease in morale among department members. So you just said, I don't know what this is. Is this like
it's contradictory.
It's contradictory. Is it kind of a form of gaslighting too? I don't know. Chief Rafferty is highly respected among the members of the department and colleagues in the law enforcement community. Okay, now let's put this sentence in there. There's a notable decrease of morale among department members, largely due to the public scrutiny regarding the Canton PD's handling of the crime scene and investigation into the death of Canton resident and Boston police officer John O'Keefe. Let's see. While constructive feedback is beneficial, the continuation of personal criticism has transformed from a method of improvement to personal attacks. These attacks via various avenues such as social media, phone calls, emails, public demonstrations have a significant negative impact on morale within the department. Well, how about the people that live in Canton?
Right.
How about we mention them?
What about the people who pay the taxes for the town, the residents?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And by the way, you can have a public demonstration. Oh, wait. No, you can't. Because if you go out there and demonstrate on a fucking sidewalk with a few signs in front of people that you want to protest, they have you they bring you into court and they fucking charge you with a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
I.e. the Canton 9. Social media I like this one too.
Yeah.
Social media personalities have claimed that the Canton PD deliberately mishandled the crime scene. They did fucking mishandle the crime scene. You fucking gave us a report and said they mishandled the crime scene. It's fucking contradictory. Oh my God. When Mr. O'Keefe was found on January 29, 2022, it implied the possible cover-up within the department to hide circumstances around Mr. O'Keefe's death. Oh, okay. Well, let's look at some Sallyport videos. I don't even know what the fucking Sallyport video that we're even going to say is the original Sallyport video now. We have 45 minutes of missing footage. We have ghosting. We have apparitions that pop up. We have people that pop up over here and then they're over there. I mean, oh, and then we found out that the wonderful person that curated all of this, the retired, I believe it was a sergeant that had this on his cloud-based server, his personal cloud-based server, decided to take up the video and cut it up into 6 fucking portions because the file was too big. Lauren has to deal with me yelling. I yell loud too. People must think I'm crazy in the building. I am a little bit crazy, but
I'm used to it.
Karen Reed and her legal team have asserted that there is a conspiracy and cover-up involving law enforcement and witnesses. Influential figures on social media, like from various regions, ooh, I like that, have been tracking and amplifying these claims. Well, when bullshit is bullshit, we call out bullshit. Multiple Canton PD officers have stated that they have experienced harassment from the public while working, spending personal time with their families and children during off-duty police details, a gathering of individuals supporting the, quote, Free Karen Reed movement, or Free Karen Reed, movement, regularly protests outside the Canton PD. You have every fucking right to do that. I'm going to encourage those people, do not stop. You have every right to do that under the First Amendment. There have been numerous accounts of officials encountering harassment, both in person and online, including through emails, voicemails, social media platforms, and YouTube. Do you know I get people that threaten me every single day? You know what I do with those emails? I delete them.
Yeah.
You know what I do with those messages? I delete them. Or I just say, hey, if you're going to continue to harass me, I'm just going to point you in the direction of my lawyer.
Yeah.
And then they stop.
Yep.
Let's see. Members of the audit team have received emails and text messages prompting team members to investigate allegations and alleged cover-ups by police. While tensions are strained within the community, it is incumbent upon the leadership of the town of Canton to remain unbiased and objective. Really? Do you think that she's done this in this case? I don't. Any lack of support from the town leadership, coupled with the vitriol expressed by some members of the public, has negatively impacted the morale of the officers. Remember, she's doing a good job because they said that in the first sentence.
Yeah.
Where was I? The following 2 quotes given by 2 separate Canton police PD officers during the interviews highlighted the chasm that exists between the Canton PD and the town officials. Quote, no one in this town will care about us until one of us gets murdered. Even then, half the town will probably celebrate that. The next quote, elected officials don't care about us. Now that the easiest way to gain popularity is to get elected to a public and then publicly trash us. They have no political platform, just trash the police. That's it. Doesn't even have to be true. Just do it. This is great. This is good stuff. Observations and finding. The Canton PD has above average morale as it relates to camaraderie and the faith in the department. I just want to go back to the initial first sentence. Here we go, because this brings us all back. The audit team observed Chief Rafferty's leadership style and found her approach and decision-making abilities to be effective.
I'd love to see the evidence they have to make that statement.
Well, clearly they're saying here, they say it and then they pull it back and then they say it again. Oh, it kind of sounds like the Commonwealth in this case. Hank Brennan says things, pulls it back, says it again, pulls it back. I can't. And then says interviews conducted by the audit team revealed that officers do not feel that they have the support of the Canton town officials. The Canton PD officers' morale as it relates to its relationships within the town is low. The audit team has been informed that that town meetings in the town of Canton thank you. I can't see that word. Devolved and became contentious and unproductive. But her decision-making and abilities are effective. Okay. Shall we move on?
Let's do it.
The audit team has found multiple family members in the Canton police officers have been subject to harassment in various individuals, both residents and non-residents, including social media figure. In one instance, a social media figure contacted the wife of Canton PD officer and left a disrespectful voicemail on her cell phone, disparaging her husband, spreading accusations of his character. Wonder who that was.
I don't know.
I think I have an idea. Additionally, an officer is harassed by the same social media figure while attending a New England Patriots football game. The chief of police faced harassment from individuals during the off-duty assignment at Gillette Stadium. Canton PD officers noted, why is this even in here? This is so goofy. Canton PD officers notified the audit team that this social media figure has continuously harassed online, in person, especially the McAlberts. This social media figure follows a witness to a high school sporting event, calling the witness a cop killer, and this social media figure has been charged with witness intimidation in the Norfolk District Attorney's Office. So the Canton PD notified the audit team to get this in the audit. What does this have to do with anything?
It doesn't have to do with their policies or procedures at all.
Because isn't this supposed to be policy and procedure related?
Yeah. No.
So they're just so what they're doing is they're injecting PR into this.
100%.
Injecting PR to try to save the Canton PD from not handling this case in the proper way. And Sandra's case. And others. I mean, we see other cases in there they drop the ball on. Several Canton PD officers have reported being harassed by the public while on duty during personal time with family and children. While working, let's go here. A group of Free Karen Reed supporters hold weekly pickets at the Canton pickets. I'm picketing. I'm not going to that damn job. And you have every right to do that. That's your First Amendment right. You can stand out there for as long as you want. Numerous incidents have occurred where officers have faced harassment in personal, online, through emails, voicemail. Isn't this just repeating everything? Members of the audit team have approached in public, contacting through emails, text messages, and encouraged them to expose the cover-up. The audit team has found that certain individuals use Freedom of Information Acts to obtain information about ongoing police investigation, budget allocations, overtime expenditures, and resolved cases. You have every fucking right to do that. I send FOIAs in all the time. I get denied, but I send them in because that's my constitutional right to do that. So keep doing it. Keep sending your FOIAs in. The information gleaned from these requests have been shared on social media. For instance, the Canton PD responded to an attempted suicide on 2019. The officer responding to the scene saved the individual's life, and the Canton PD sergeant received an award for its act. This is total PR, dude.
I've never heard this story
total
before
PR.
Either.
On February 17, 2025, the audit team has conducted and informed that the individual had actually been murdered by the Canton PD and was part of another cover-up. The audit team located the individual from June of 2019 and confirmed they are still alive and doing well. I just screwed this up. I need that little screen to drop. There we go. Such requests drain from the Canton PD's resources as officers must devote time and effort for fulfilling the FOIA requests. Oh, that's their job. So it's fine. That's their job. For example, a citizen who received a traffic violation used a FOIA request that details all of its incidents in the town of Canton where drivers were pulled over and ticketed for using phones while driving, despite having a clean driving record. Requests such as this place a significant burden on Canton PD resources. Well, looks like they need to hire someone then.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you because that's our God-given right to do this. It's we can use the Constitution and get FOIA requests. Like I said, I do it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. If I do anything here in Massachusetts, always gets denied.
Mm-hmm.
Anything out of state, I get the information like in
Very
2
quickly.
days.
Yeah.
Yep. Observations affecting morale, various social media. We've already talked about this. I'm just going to go over the social media stuff. Oh, pictures.
Oh, I saw this
I
part.
like this. This is fun. Well, this is fun, right? So we have, looks like Aiden up there.
Mm-hmm.
Up at court, you have Chief Rafferty. I think that's, we have a bunch of Free Karen Reed supporters. This judge.
Oh, yeah. A sign mocking Judge Canoni, it says.
We have other Free Karen Reed supporters here.
I think that's Renee holding the one on the bottom.
I think so too. So it says interviews and officer perception, and you have some tweets up there too. We have microdots. Let's see. I can't fucking see that far because my glasses are for reading, so it's making me. The entire world is waiting for the day when the McAlberts get fucked up. It's coming. Free Karen Reed. Let's see. Looks like a post by. Let me just.
I cannot read that so far away at all. There we go.
Here we go. Microdots. You have Justice for John O'Keefe.
Oh, that's within the
Mazza
Facebook
Media.
group.
Oh, they got Mazza in there. Look at that. Mazza made the audit.
I think that's. I can't tell. Yeah.
No, I'm saying his post on X.
Yeah.
The audit.
I was trying to say. I think that's Grant that he's pointing at.
Yes, I think so too. So let's see. The audit team successfully conducted interviews with all Canton PD officers and personnel, achieving 100% participation. Officers reported that the department is undergoing a significant pressure due to the proliferation and misinformation, witness coercion, and the lack of support from elected officials. Let's see. Officers explained that certain individuals referred to as influencers. I like that word, influencers. Are spreading false narratives about officers involved in O'Keefe and Birchmore cases without any sustaining evidence. These influencers, primarily motivated by financial gain, fabricating sensational stories based on speculation to attract public attention. Well, how about this? How about we come to these platforms and we start these platforms because the mainstream media, the media that the Canton PD would follow and agree with, are not covering these cases properly. I.e., I'll give you an example right now. Enrique Delgado Garcia. Okay? Enrique Delgado Garcia got a splash in the pan, and then they want to do the mainstream media want to do their it's been 90 days. Dun, dun, dun. 90 days. Dun, 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 dun. It's been 6 months. Dun, 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 dun. They got to pop up and do that, where they don't do anything to keep that story alive. They don't do anything to keep that story alive. So they want their news piece, 90 days, what's going on? 90 days tragedy. And then they do 6 months tragedy. They have not kept that story alive at all. They haven't done anything publicly to keep that story alive at all. So we start these platforms to continue to inform people of what's going on in our area, because stories like this get dropped all the time. And we look at, how do they portray, Karen, how are they portraying Aiden and all of this? It's always in a negative, very negative way with an agenda. We just tell the truth. It's unfiltered what you're going to get here. I don't have a script in front of me. Lauren doesn't have a script in front of her. We don't get notes from a producer. We just come on live, we hit the live button, and we talk about and tell our feelings.
Okay, I like that comment. I like Mizzy's comment. They act like the First Amendment doesn't exist. We have the right to criticize our government. This has nothing to do with what they did at John and Sandra's crime scenes. I completely agree. Like, this entire section of the audit is unnecessary because it is the First Amendment. And you know what? Just because you're uncomfortable with something, or something doesn't make you feel good, or it makes you feel bad, doesn't mean it's illegal, or doesn't mean, like, it's protected under the First Amendment. And if you go into certain careers, like, you got to understand that there are certain public perceptions that come along with that. It's not going to be rainbows and butterflies all the time. If you pick certain careers, that's just kind of how it is. And it's like you said, it's all the First Amendment. We have a right to criticize these people.
We have a right to criticize and get to the bottom of the truth without all this static in the middle of it. I think this is just static. This is all PR. This is all this is. This is PR. Like, this is so unnecessary inside the audit. The audit was to deal with policy and procedure.
Yep.
That's it. But now, you know, I'm telling you, you don't think that Canton PD had any influence on this section coming inside the audit? Of course they did. Of course,
they literally asked for their influence, but they didn't ask for the public's opinion.
Right. They don't want the public opinion. They want the department's influence of what's going on.
Yep.
You know, but you have every single right to go out and talk about this and talk about it in any way. That's a First Amendment right. You can criticize. You can do that. So it says the following statements by the Canton PD officers during the time of in-person interviews with the audit team. I love this town, and they used to love us too. These days were great, but they are gone. No one in this town will care about. Okay, so we read that. Elected officials, people in this town will just keep fueling the false rumors, and this is going to get one of us killed.
I don't really.
That's a little goofy statement.
I don't think that's true.
I don't think that's true.
I certainly don't wish that upon anybody. And if it did happen, I certainly wouldn't celebrate it. That's
of course.
Crazy. That's crazy.
It is crazy. I've wanted to be a Canton police officer since I can remember. I love this job and I love this town. My biggest fear now is that if I die on this job, will the town continue to harass my wife and kids? My wife asks me every day, why would I risk my life for a town that wouldn't care if I died? Every day I tell her that I love this town and the guys that I work with, but that's why I work. Well, it doesn't really seem like they cared about John O'Keefe. That's the bigger point in all of this. That's the bigger point in all of this. Did you care when you responded? Did you care enough to investigate and do your job? Did you care enough to tape crime scene photos? Did you care enough to put up crime scene tape and not let a million people walk through it? Did you care enough to hold potential witnesses at that scene instead of letting them walk away? That's what I ask about this. Because when I see that, that's a botched investigation. That's an investigation that looks like no one cared.
Yep. To me, the fact that they did not preserve the crime scene or take pictures of John's body is absolutely unacceptable. Like, just not preserving the crime scene calls into question every piece of evidence from the crime scene because it wasn't preserved.
Yeah.
Like that, I don't know.
And you can't go back.
No, you can't. Once it's contaminated,
that's it. It's contaminated. And Todd said that the other day. And I think that is a big sticking point that defense can bring around this time. And I know I've quoted this a million times and people are probably sick of me hearing about it. But that O.J. Simpson documentary, the most recent one on Netflix, they talked about that. Let's attack the way that the crime scene information and the crime scene evidence was preserved. And it wasn't preserved. It was not preserved. And it wasn't preserved in this case too. You had multiple people. When you're watching even the leaf blower video, look at that video. There's multiple footsteps through that area.
Yep.
Multiple footsteps. And to come here and say after this audit, oh, well, they did everything that they possibly can given the situation. Just like Todd McGee said, fucking slow it down. We're not in a rush here. We're not in a rush here. Let's get it right the first time. There could have been a more effective way to think about how to gather that evidence at the crime scene.
Yep. He gave examples too, like with the gauze and stuff.
Yep. 100%.
I can't wait for Mizzy said she's going to be extra spicy when we chat.
Yeah, we'll set something up this week, Mizzy.
I can't wait.
We'll set something up this week. I'll reach out to you after the show. We'll get it set up. Yeah. Let's see. So we're going to move on here. Despite the above officers' report to work daily and serve the town of Canton, two of the Canton PD's youngest officers grew up in Canton and have witnessed the public vitriol over the last 2 years. Yet, despite the negative publicity and open hostility towards the department they applied for, they took an oath to become a Canton police officer. During the weeks of February 17th through the 21st, 2025, officers saved the lives of 2 citizens in the town and arrested another on assault charges with seriously injuring a young woman on Valentine's Day. Despite the low morale due to the public sentiment, the relationships and respect among fellow officers remain strong, and the commitment to serve and protect the public has been observed in daily by the audit team. I have to say congratulations to those officers in that way. I have to give them props. I mean, you saved two citizens. You did your job. That's what you're assigned to do. You arrested someone on serious assault charges. I think that's fantastic, especially on a young woman on fucking Valentine's Day. But this is what it's why you take this oath and do these things.
This is what you're here for.
This is what you're here for. But let's just make sure that going forward, and this should have been practices and policies and procedures that happened years ago in this department. And we see multiple missteps in the policy and procedures in this department. And it fucked up. And it fucked up this investigation. And you're never going to get that right again. You only got one chance. And you fucked it up.
Got one shot.
One shot. The review of the Canton Police Department operational procedures. Operational procedures of the Canton PD comply with established standards set forth by MPAC Post and CALAE. The procedures align with the industry norms and either meet and exceed the operational protocols of neighboring departments. I don't think I have an ant button. Do I have an ant button? Wrong. Yeah. There we go. Little record scratch. How are you saying that's meeting standards and it's up to neighboring departments?
So are they trying to say that other neighboring departments also don't preserve their crime scenes?
Ooh, bum bum ba. Wait, here we go. I gotta find this one. There we go. There you go.
It was funny. We were saying one shot, one opportunity. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I'm talking, it's playing in my head now.
Yeah. So it goes on to say the department operates within a preliminary structure of clear hierarchy and rank and command. The command of staff demonstrates diligence and effective utilization. But you just said that they broke. I can't make sense
they
of this.
Can't make up
My
their
head
mind.
is hurting. Oh.
Can't make up their mind.
I'm not going to bother reading that anymore because it's just back-ass words. So we got recommendations. It is recommended that the two additional resources, all right, I want to get into this, inevitably remain uncovered with presence. Additionally, we recommend to fully funded position for mental health professionals, okay, effective communication channels should be established among town leaders, elected officials, and department officers. Meetings should be held directly. I think this is the end of our presentation. And it is the end of our presentation.
I don't know. I'm not fully satisfied with that audit. I'm not.
I'm not fully satisfied.
A lot of people are not. There was a little bit of validation in there, but there was also a whole lot of baloney.
I just don't understand what the whole purpose of. Well, I know what the purpose of putting in that whole section about influence.
Yeah.
It's to clean up.
PR.
It's PR for Canton PD. That's all it is. It's PR for Canton PD. And look, they fucked up. I think that, again, this is going to be a big part of the defense that will be brought forward this time around. We heard a little bit about before, but I think this time around, it's going to be kind of a sticking point in Karen Reed 2.0.
Yeah, I agree. And I really hope that this audit, at least parts of it that are validating for Karen's case, I hope that it's presented in trial. Yeah. I hope that they're allowed to use it because it is good evidence for certain aspects like the crime scene preservation and stuff.
I agree. You want to open up the phone lines?
Let's do it.
We'll take a couple calls here. Yeah. So phone lines are open. The rules are this. If you hear someone on the line, please just don't call in because it gets a little bit distracting.
Don't forget to turn your phone on this time.
Yeah, I got to turn my phone on here. Hang on.
The app or whatever.
Yes. Let's see. I'm going to turn on my voice app here in a minute, and then we'll start taking some calls like the normal Sunday show. Here it is. There we go. So please, we're going to do take some calls. You can call the show at 339-364-8881. I like to give everybody, like, I don't know, what was I saying last time?
I think it was 8 minutes.
8 minutes.
Oh, you got a call coming in.
I have a call coming in. I don't hear it ringing, though. There we go. You are live. Who do we have, and where are you from? Hello. 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 Well, call back, caller. Because we couldn't hear you. We couldn't hear you. We couldn't hear you. I got my speaker all the way up. Should be able to hear them. Let's try again. Hello, you are live. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, bummer.
They called up. They hung up. Something's going on.
Must be on their end.
Definitely on their end. But we'll wait.
Got another
Someone
caller.
will call.
Mhm.
Someone will call.
Yeah.
But in the interim, I'll pull up our timer.
There you go.
We'll do I don't want 10 minutes. You are live. Who do we have? I hear you.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Brian.
Yes. Who do we have?
Hey, thanks for everything you do, and thanks for what you touched for Enrique. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for calling. So what do you think about this Canton audit? Oh, they hung up.
Just wanted to say thank
All
you.
right. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Wow. I don't think that's happened yet.
No, but that was very cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Denise says and she's on Facebook watching us live on Facebook. Says all policemen say absolutely no leaf blowers, 5-stone candy coated leaf blowers. I love that. I love that.
Yeah. When I heard the leaf blower story the first time, I was like
what?
That does not make sense. That does not make sense.
Doesn't make sense at all. All right. You are live. Who do we have on the line?
I think it's that same number that we
It's the
couldn't
same
hear.
number.
Yeah, they're calling from VA.
I don't know what's going on with their phone, but our lines are definitely working.
Yes.
I did connect.
Yeah.
So you can try. Let's see. Thomas T says, I believe Rita said the audit committee got hijacked in the end. Yeah.
It seems that way to me. I agree.
Yeah. Oh, Gail says, was that Higgins that just called?
I don't think so.
No, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't think he would be saying thank you for anything.
No, I don't think so. All right, let's try this again. Virginia, we can get you on the line. Hello.
What's up, buddy? How are you?
What's going on?
Not too much, man. I know I'm calling. I just want to say I'm originally from Fall River, Massachusetts.
Okay.
This is just what I want to say.
Yeah.
Look, one, too many coincidences.
Yep.
Too many coincidences. Another one. Do you know any people? Well, let's just say this. It's easy as a police officer to say, "Oh, the public's harassing us," blah blah blah. That's what happens when you make $150,000 a year or $200,000 a year. He leaves that out. So let's not forget that the money these officers are being paid. Too many coincidences, and that's it. That's all I got to say. I appreciate you.
I agree.
Thank you.
I
Yeah.
agree. Too many coincidences.
Way too many. Not mathematically possible.
It's not mathematically possible. And that's what I've always said about this too, is that all the stuff that's been put out in front of us, like it just magically all lined up that I can see like maybe one thing.
One coincidence.
But not 5, 10. I mean, the biggest thing for me too is I look at, and we just went back and watched I just recently redid Brian Albert's testimony. We rewatched it.
Yep.
And like just sitting there literally him going like, oh, the dog didn't wait, like, no, I didn't hear the dog bark. Like, really? I mean, I know people that own dogs. I've dated girls that have dogs. Like, if you fart outside, that dog is running to the window and looking out.
Yeah.
I mean, and probably barking.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially a German Shepherd.
Mm.
They are
super
just
high
like,
alert.
They're very high alert dogs. Like they're used as police dogs. Like there's no way that all these lights are going to be going off and sirens, even if there aren't sirens. There's no way all these lights are going to be going off. All this commotion's going outside, and your German Shepherd is not going to make a peep.
Yeah.
Not happening. Not happening. I have a
don't
dog,
believe
and
it.
she sees, because she'll see anything outside and she runs over and she's like, oh, what's going on? What's going on? She's a cattle dog mix. She's a herder.
And like you wouldn't, I mean, I just had an incident last year where I was in bed. and I heard sirens and all that coming down. It literally woke me up out of sleep. I saw the through my blackout curtains, peek through a little bit, but I saw the blue and red flashing lights. I jumped out, looked out the window, and there's literally 2 houses down. It's in a blazing inferno.
Yeah.
And I'm like, jump up out of bed. This is like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. In my street, super quiet too. And I know Fairview at night is super quiet. It's not a heavily trafficked road. Like you would jump up and definitely wake up out of something out of the norm.
Absolutely. I mean, when I was living in an apartment, I definitely would. Every time I saw lights, I went over and I peeked out.
Of course, you want to see what's going on.
Like, it's just natural human curiosity, and like, especially if your dog's barking, you're gonna wake up.
And then I remember Jackson like asking, like, did you wear sleep mask? Did you have earplugs in? Take any medication to go to bed? He's like, no.
Said no to all of those.
So you're telling me that you didn't do any of those things? And I mean, I'll openly admit it, I wear a sleep mask at night.
I do too.
And sometimes I will put earplugs in, just depending on what's going on in the house. Like, sometimes my neighbor upstairs is like awake at night, so I'll throw earplugs in. But like, you're gonna tell me that you didn't even have any of those variables in, and you didn't wake up?
Yeah,
that doesn't make any sense to me.
No, I wear a sleep mask too, and the shades in my bedroom are like, they're not blackout, but they're very darkening. And so I probably wouldn't wake up to lights, but I would wake up to sirens or my dog barking.
And Anthony's making a good point. He said dogs have good hearing, and they do. And that's why people get dogs and bring them into their house to be an alert. To be an alert. And I mean, I've even had friends of mine that have dogs, and like something will be going up like a couple of houses down, and the dog will jump up and run to the window to see what's going on. I just don't believe it. I don't believe it. So I don't know. It's crazy where, I think by Wednesday or Thursday, we're probably going to have a full jury seated, maybe the end of the week. But I don't know. I don't see this really going into another week.
I don't think it'll take more than one more week. I don't think it'll go into a third week. I really don't. And they already have 10 out of 16 jurors.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Scary.
It is.
Fast.
I think it's too fast.
Super fast.
Too fast.
Super, super fast. Maybe I didn't always canceling butt. Possibility it could be. But I don't know. It's just, to me, it just doesn't, nothing lines up.
Didn't he say his dog slept in the closet sometimes?
Well, then he was like, oh yeah, the dog was inside the closet. And he's like, oh, now the dog's in the closet.
Yeah, who puts their
the dog in the closet? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, no. Who puts their dog in a closet?
That doesn't make any sense.
Why would you do that?
Yeah. And then the fact of, after all the alert, you still don't go outside and say, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sophie says it's all bullshit.
Yep, it is.
All bullshit. ICU says, LTL Media, is there any truth or gossip that Brian Albert wrecked his shoulder and had bruises, so he did not go out to Officer John O'Keefe's funeral? I remember seeing someone like in a sling.
I heard
a couple of days later in a photo. Yeah.
I heard that was one of the reasons he didn't go to the funeral, was so that people wouldn't see that he was injured. I don't know if it's true, but I did hear that. I did hear that.
Yeah. And then Bettero's, Chrissy C says Bettero's insight on the jury selection is concerning. I got to get him back on the show. Possibly, maybe I can get him on this week, and we'll talk over the jury selection. I'd like to get him back on with Todd. That was a really great mashup that we had.
That was a
Paula Cat checking in. She said, great. Happy Sunday, LTL family. Thanks for checking in. I appreciate it. Yeah. And Sophie said she remembered hearing that too. So again, phone lines open if you want to call 339-364-8881. We'll stay live for a couple more minutes here, and then we're gonna duck out and probably go grab a early, I don't know, what is this, a late lunch right now?
A linner.
A linner. That's what they call it.
I think so. Lunch, dinner is a linner.
Is a linner.
Maybe somebody else tell me if they call it something else, but I've heard it called a linner.
Linner. That's funny. I like to eat
or
early
supper.
Anyway.
Supper. That's what my grandparents. We're gonna have some supper.
Supper. You're gonna have supper.
Yeah, Sophie, a meal of food.
Yeah, my mom always called supper.
Yeah, my mom calls it supper too.
Supper.
Yep.
And then I remember my mom always going like it was fucking crazy. I would just grab my bike and be like, come home, fucking street lights came on. You can't do that now. You get fucking murdered.
No. We the house I grew up in had a long driveway, and my parents would draw a line of chalk at the end of it. We weren't allowed to go past the line of chalk, but like granted, it was and still is a very nice neighborhood. Like it's kind of like Fairview. It's a neighborhood like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then once we got
that's not a nice neighborhood.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. But as far as like the it's similar, the way it's set up in the houses and the distance and stuff like that.
On the outside looking in, it looks like a nice neighborhood, but when you peel the fucking onion layers back, there's a lot of corruption in that fucking neighborhood.
As we got older, we were allowed to venture a little bit more out into the street and around the neighborhood.
I grew up in Hyde Park.
Lupper. I like that one too.
It's Lupper.
Lupper, Dunch.
Yeah. Dunch.
I like all these.
Dinner, lunch. I like these. Miller Food is my go-to now. Lupper. Yeah, I grew up in Hyde Park on Reedville Street, and I just went down there on New Year's Day.
Oh, I saw that picture.
On New Year's Day, it was the first time I had gone down there in about 40 years. Wow. And it was weird because when you're a fucking kid and you go back to your old neighborhood, like you think everything is so big when you're a kid, but then when you're there, you're like, oh my God, this is so small. Yep. And then you just remember all the little things and you're like, I used to like there was like an old bar that's still on that street. I don't think it's open anymore, but I remember like driving by. I was like, I remember like sneaking down there with a pocket full of quarters, and I would run in because we weren't allowed to be in the bar because we were fucking young, but they had a double dragon machine right there. And I used to go in there and like fucking play. And one of my friends would like keep an eye to be like, make sure like no one was coming. And we would go in there and play like double dragon. And then just like other crazy shit that I remember.
Yeah. Yeah. My parents still live in the house that I grew up in. And it's crazy how when you think about your memories versus what it looks like now, everything felt bigger back then. It definitely did as a kid.
Yeah. It's crazy how you like things look smaller when you're older. You know, because our perspective is different because and that's like the whole thing with like time too. When you're young, you don't have the concept of time. But as you get older, you start to realize what time really is. And unfortunately, it feels like it starts getting quicker and shorter.
The older I get, the quicker time goes by.
100%.
For sure.
100%.
Yep.
I don't know, Lauren. Is this it today? I think this might be it.
Might be. If no one wants to call and talk to us,
so
that's okay.
I think we're gonna shut it down. But very effective show today. Great perspectives, by the way, on the whole Canton audit. A little bit more that I need to dig into.
Yeah.
I definitely want to go watch the public hearing that they had on Saturday. I think it was like 3 hours long. Yeah,
I watched a small clip of it yesterday. But I do want to watch more of it.
Yeah, I want to get into more of that. We're going to reach out to Mizzy and have her on the show this week.
Yes.
So I want to hear her thoughts on the Canton audit as well, pertaining to Sandra Birchmore. I'm sure she's got a lot to say. So Mizzy, if you're still in the chat, I'll reach out to you sometime this afternoon. We'll get that set up. What else? I don't know. It's going to be an interesting week. And
yep.
I still think my predictions like Wednesday, Thursday, we should have a seated jury. What do you think? Are you around that time frame or next week?
I definitely don't think it will go into next week. I think Friday by the latest. But yeah, I'm thinking maybe midweek at the rate they're going, but definitely by Friday, I would say.
Yeah. What does everybody in the chat think? Real quick before we head out. Do you think they'll seat the jury this week, or do you think it's going to be, a couple weeks after? I'm curious to see what everybody's thinking.
Yeah. Let's see. Call us and tell us if you want.
Yeah, or you can just call and tell us. Let's see what everybody says in the chat. Thank you, Thomas. Appreciate it. Cindy, thank you. Sophie says sometime midweek or this week, possibly this week. Yeah, I think it's going to be this week.
I agree. I don't think it'll go into a third week at this point.
Yeah, Thomas is saying it's maddening worse than the report itself. 100%.
How long after the jury selection is selected do you think until they start the first day
Susie
of trial?
Says definitely this week. I wouldn't even put it past. They seat the juries on fucking Thursday, and Bab's like, we're starting on Friday.
That would be.
I guarantee you.
Yeah.
Chrissy says this week. Thomas says maybe this week. Mizzy says I got a whole lot to say. I love it. Anthony thinks this week. Mary says done by Friday, I think. Alan says the way that it's going, they'll seat it by midweek. I think it's going to be Wednesday, Thursday.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely not a third week.
No. And which is crazy because all the experts said this is going to be weeks.
Yep.
And it's going fast.
It's faster than the first trial.
Super fast. Super fast.
Yeah.
No way. Starting Friday. She's heading to the Cape Friday. Yeah, I like that too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I don't think it's going to be very good weather the next week, though. So who
Well,
knows?
I don't know. She needs her weekends
She
too,
needs her
remember?
weekends, yeah.
I need my weekends too, Mr. Jackson. Ugh. Yes, seated in opening arguments the following.
It was great to see you too, Sophie.
Yeah, Gail says, I can't believe Bev is picking the jurors. I can't believe Bev is picking the jurors. This week, Ronnie says, this week, there's still stuff Bev hasn't ruled on. Yes, that's true
There's some more
too. But
motions and stuff, I think.
this is a new trial.
Yeah.
We got to get it. Mr. Jackson, there's a time schedule. So I don't know. She probably doesn't give a shit. Let's see. Wasn't her first jury seated in 5 days? Yeah. Yeah. It was.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was.
No, it
more than
was.
that.
Now that I think about it.
Okay.
It was quick. Yeah, Ronnie's right on that one.
I was wrong.
Wrong.
I will take responsibility for that. I was wrong.
You were wrong. You wrong.
Yeah,
you wrong.
You wrong.
You wrong. All right, Lauren, I think we're going to wrap this one up.
Sounds good.
Let's go have a meal of
hungry.
food and hang out and discuss all that is to be discussed. I guess that's it.
Yeah.
But I appreciate everybody joining us on this late Super Sunday show. We'll be back to our normal schedule next week, which will be 10:30 a.m. I like that slot. I don't know, maybe we have a seated jury by the next time we come live on Sunday. I'll be doing some shows throughout the week.
Yeah.
I haven't really put anything together, but I'm going to reach out to Mizzy and we'll get her on. You can probably join us virtually.
Oh, I would love to.
Yeah.
I would love
Lauren's
to
going to join us virtually on that show. And I don't know. That's it.
Yeah.
I like the short shows sometimes.
Gail,
Not bad.
I'm curious about Gail's comment really quick that Mark Betterow told everyone this morning that Bev is picking the jurors. I'll have to go back and find that clip because I'm a little unclear on what she means by that. By Bev picking the jurors.
Interesting.
Yeah. I need to get some clarification on that.
Me too. Didn't watch this morning.
I only watched like a little bit of it and it was in the background as I was like getting ready this morning.
I haven't had an opportunity
So
to watch. But you know what? Maybe I'll just reach out to him and have him on the show.
Come on back.
That's probably
Mark.
better.
We'd
so
love to have
we'll
you.
do that.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be it. Any last words to the audience?
Just happy to be here as usual.
Oh, let's see. Did we make I want to see where we're at. Did we get over we're still not there. Come on, there's gotta be a subscriber out there. We're at 39,396. I need a couple more to get to 39,400. We're just over a little bit. 600 subscribers away from hitting 40,000.
So close.
Just make sure to like,
it's
share,
free
and
to subscribe, guys.
It is free to subscribe. Turn that bell notification on.
Yeah.
I appreciate everybody. I love you. Thanks for being here. Moderator, subscriber, Go Squad members. We'll be back this week and we'll line up some shows. I promise.
Yeah.
I promise. All right, everybody. We're going to head out. Everybody, have a good day.
Bye.